Hey guys, Bradley Hallman here. We are about to start a new video for Falcon Rods on their YouTube. Guys, if you hadn't subscribed to their channel, you're just now finding it. There's lots of pros going to be on here. They're doing different technique series coming real soon, all just in this year alone. Mine today is going to be over flipping. So it's a lot of questions I get a lot about the rods that I use, the line I use, the reel, the techniques, the bait, the BFE in my hand. So we'll go over all those things in this video, guys. Every bit of it. We're going to do a lot of flipping. It's springtime. We got some fish spawning. We've got grass, wood, trees. We got it all to flip today. So really excited to make this show, and hopefully we catch some big ones. All right, guys, today we're doing a little flipping. It's right around the spawn. It's getting to be about midday here, and I've been throwing some moving baits around this morning. I want to pull a flipping stick out because I want to cover some of the things that I'm going to do with the shoreline grass that this lake has, along with some of the mixed wood that I've really been wanting to flip. Really excited about being here and doing this today because it gives me the opportunity to answer some of the questions you guys have quite often about flipping, different things that we do. This particular area right here is basically a spawning pocket. It's got a lot of little holes inside some of these grass beds where fish are going to spawn. Little holes inside the grass that the fish may be spawning themselves in right now that you possibly may not catch with a moving bait. If you come through an area like this time of year, water temperatures up into the 60s, warm sunny day in the springtime, you come through with a chatter bait or a swim bait or spinner bait, a swim jig, and you don't seem to get many bites and you just move on. A lot of times those fish could actually be there. They just may be locked down and spawning. They may be locked down to the bottom, and they just really want that slow presentation, and that's what flipping is going to do for us today. I've got a lot of confidence in this technique, especially this time of year. You've got a big push of fish that have come up and getting ready to spawn. Some are possibly spawning, and flipping really allows you to pick apart high potential areas with a lot of cover, a lot of target rich environments, kind of what I like to call it, because you know you've got grass, you've got a tree, you've got another grass, you got a hole in the grass, you got to lay down. This lake really offers a lot of that in shallow water, so it is a target rich environment. Flipping allows us to cover a lot of it and possibly catch some of the biggest fish that live in this lake. Whenever I'm flipping like we're doing today, I've got two different rods and two different setups I use for flipping, and for me it's a big deal. It's a big difference. And the whole setup is totally different, and it starts with the cover that I'm fishing. If I'm flipping vegetation, strictly just vegetation of some type, whether it be 20-foot deep hydrilla mats or I'm flipping water willow on the side of a bank on the Arkansas River, I prefer braid. Braid is my line of choice, and that in itself changes the whole dynamic of the hook and the rod completely. So when I'm flipping braid, like this water willow that we're flipping today, I'm going to flip it on a 7'3". This is a Cara Amistad. You can get the Amistad in the lowrider, you can get it in the Expert. It's my favorite rod all across the board. Amistad day in and day out is the rod that I use the most, not just flipping, but for a lot of things. Where it changes is whenever I'm flipping bushes, willow trees, buck bushes, wood, anything like that. I'm going to be flipping fluorocarbon, and I flip usually 25-pound test fluorocarbon. Sometimes I go up to 30 depending on the size of fish in the lake, but generally speaking 95% of the time I'm flipping 25-pound test, and I flip it on the Amistad Extra Heavy. But it's a little bit stiffer rod. It's the same rod as what I flip with the braid, but a little bit heavier. The reason that I want that heavier rod, like hook sets and things like that, are better. Why do I flip fluorocarbon in wood and why not braid? Whenever you're flipping into bushes, willow trees, things like that with bark, braid has a tendency, especially with the wind blowing, to get its little loops and lay around on the bark, and it gets hung. It's just it's a constant mess that you have to jack with all day long, and I can't stand it. Whereas my whole deal is about efficiency. The more casts I can get in the day, the more chances I can have to get a bite. So therefore, fluorocarbon slides in and out, in and out, in and out, and I don't have up all the hang-up issues. And that's primarily it. And 25-pound test fluorocarbon, I have no problem pulling big fish out of heavy cover. So I've done it my whole life, and that's my setup. The biggest difference is the action of the rod. I like the 7'3" Amistad for braid, and the 7'4" Amistad with the Expert series is the only one that you can get the extra heavy in. We do have the Amistad series in all 3 blanks, but the extra heavy I believe is in the Expert, not in the Lowrider. So it's been a game changer for me. There's one right there. It's a good one. Golly. Get my bait off. That's a good chunk right there. That one was on wood, so that's what I was talking about. Flipping in high percentage targets was actually on that shallowest piece of wood right there we were just talking about. The fish looks like she's about ready to spawn. Still got a fat belly, probably full of eggs. And that was my second flip to that one tree. So it wasn't just one flip. I flipped on the left side and then I flipped the right. So multiple flips makes a difference sometimes. All right. Gotta go back. All right, guys, I want to talk to you about some of the things that I'm looking for, you know, high percentage areas, high potential, what I consider to be more likely to get bid on than something that I wouldn't. Things that I do think that are higher potential in flipping, I try to put more than just 2 or 3 flips on. You can see a couple of these trees right here that are just right outside of where I'm standing right now. This tree right here, the fact that it's further out, it's a little bit bushier, would normally be your higher potential tree. More than likely, you've just got 3 trees sitting there, 2 that are kind of together. But right now, we're really close to the spawn, like really close. Water temperature right now is 62.01. So like it is middle of April, spawning season. And the fact that those 2 are sitting really, really shallow could potentially be more of your high potential tree spot as a flip, as opposed to the one that's deeper. The one deeper is still always better. The one that's just a little bit further out. And that's whether it's a bush, a point of grass, anything that you're flipping, something that sticks out by itself, anything that's isolated, anything that's different is always a higher potential flip than just a big row of bushes or a big row of grass. It'll be the point of the grass or the points of the bushes or where one sits out by itself or an isolated clump of grass. Those are the things that I really try to flip multiple casts and not just go by one. It's probably one of the things that I see when I crawl in the boat with other guys that are running the trolling motor and they're making their flips and they're casting, is that they kind of get in a rhythm. You know, you stand on the trolling motor, you get off the trolling motor, you get on the trolling motor, you get off the trolling motor. And it seems at times that you honestly can get caught up in that little grind and you'll kind of go slow through the average areas. And then when you get to the really good areas, you're actually going too fast and you're not making enough presentations with your bait. So something to keep in mind. Look for the high potential areas whenever you're flipping, and it should help you out. Dude, give me some. Put down that camera, dude. Good job. BFE, one more in the mud. Guys, this is just a 4-inch BFE by Big Bite. It's actually a bait that I designed for them. I've got it on a 1/4 ounce weight. That is one thing that I changed. I was flipping 3/8 ounce weight earlier today, and it, you know, I don't know if a 1/4 to 3/8 makes that much of a difference, but a lot of these fish really act like they're really trying to spawn because we're catching them next to these little stick ups that are only a foot and a half deep. So sometimes lightening up that weight can make a difference. I flip all different weight sizes. A lot of it just depends on the time of year and how deep a cover I'm flipping, from anything from a 3/16 all the way up to a 2-ounce weight. So we're not trying to punch any heavy cover or anything here, but sometimes a light weight like that will really help you whenever you get around the spawn. Something to think about. Let's see, let her go. Swim away. All right, guys, just to go through things real quick again, that's a question we get a lot. The reel's always flipping. It's always going to be a high-speed reel, 7/4 to 1 or faster, something like that. Braided line or 25-pound test fluorocarbon. Like I said, today I went to a lighter weight, 1/4 ounce weight. The rod that I'm almost always flipping is going to be this Amistad if I'm anywhere around bushes or this type of grass. if flipping the Amistad with the braid, and I like the Amistad extra heavy whenever I'm flipping fluorocarbon. So guys, this is just the beginning. We made this video pretty quick. Saw a couple of other fish sitting up there on the bed that I want to go play with. So until next time, guys, y'all pay attention, hit that subscribe button, because we may end up posting this one too, because if this big one will stay on the bed for us, it's going to be a good show. Guys, appreciate y'all being here. Until next time, we're out of here.